using humor appropriately. If it feels appropriate, crack the joke, yeah? Because incorporating a few jokes into the interview can make you appear, more human, more memorable. Laughter creates this positive connection, being seen as a positive person. There is a lot of pluses, but it's really critical to read the audience and context accurately before doing that. If you will try to force a joke or remember some random dad joke from your childhood, it might have a really negative consequences. If your humor is not really your strong thing, maybe it's better to refrain from attempting any jokes. But remember, if you can make it naturally, with maintaining the professionalism and finding the right balance, that would be a great thing to do. Again, depends on the situation. But imagine, here's a hiring manager. They got 100 applications for the role. Let's say it's maybe a role that doesn't require really, really specific technical skills. Yeah. So there's a lot of people with that skill. They narrow down the pool of candidates. They get to the 10. They quickly, call 10 people for the quick screening interview. So if everyone have the relevant skills, relevant experience, similar salary expectations, similar notice period, how do they choose who going to be shortlisted? So it's simply who they will remember, who they have the best conversation with. And look, if you did make the person laugh, they just simply will remember you, because they remember oh yeah, that person, I enjoyed talking to them. It was engaging. We had fun. So I'll shortlist them. It's a subjective tip, I know, but I think in the right circumstances, it can work really, really well. People will forget what you say. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And that's something to remember, especially if you only had a brief interaction with the person. They're not going to remember, what was in your previous job description. But if you make them feel good, they will remember you. And again, remember, we're talking about screening interview here. We're talking about this first interaction with the hiring manager, first interaction with recruiter, and talking about this first impression. Next tip is focus on highlighting your strengths. When discussing your skills, focus on your strengths without veering off track. Avoid mentioning unfamiliar tools or technology that you may be not proficient in it, and it all can lead you to the rabbit hole. Don't feel compelling to bring up things that you haven't been directly asked, and especially if you're not confident in those areas. For example, if an interviewer asking you about your cloud computing skills, you need to emphasize your expertise in the areas you excel and have extensive experience in. There is no need mentioning something and saying oh, look, I'm not really good with Terraform. I don't know. Unless someone actually asks you directly, have you worked with Terraform? Yeah. If no one asks you that, why would I say something that you're not really good at? Steer the conversation towards showcasing your strong skills and qualification. I'm not talking about, bragging about yourself. Yeah. It's not about that. It's about avoiding the rabbit holes, and you start talking about something you don't really know. And then interviewer ending up asking you more clarification questions on this topic, and you're just digging yourself deeper and deeper. Talk about things that you're really confident about. The next point from there is clarify the question is if you're unsure. If you're not unsure about the question that the recruiter or hiring manager asks you, avoid just providing a random answer and hoping for the best. Yeah. So you heard the familiar word and you just start talking about it. Don't do it. Instead, take the initiative to clarify this question by rephrasing it. And rather than saying something like, oh, what did you say? I didn't get it. Can you repeat it? Try to rephrase it back to interviewer. For example, that's example on the screen. Say something, if I understand correctly, you're asking me, if I have experience using this specific tool to solve this particular problem. Did I understand, is my understanding correct? Did I understand it correctly? This approach shows that you actually actively engage and trying to provide the relevant response instead of just try to talk about anything, at least a little bit relevant. Not every interviewer perfect as well. Sometimes people do ask questions that they maybe didn't structure correctly, or they maybe don't know how to ask this specific thing as well. So don't assume that interviewer is perfect and know exactly what they're asking. But try to understand them. So try to understand and ask those clarifying questions to dig deeper and like, do I understand correctly that that's what you're trying to ask me? And sometimes you might not understand the question also because of the accent as well, especially when you're nervous, someone speaks with the accent, we don't really understand, and we feel a bit, uncomfortable about it. We don't want to just say, please repeat it again over and over. Rephrase the question back. Yeah. Again, instead of just saying, what did you say? Can you repeat again? Say again. Instead of this, try to rephrase the question back and ask if you understand correctly. Another point that's sort of similar to it, similar but different, is be honest when you don't know something. Be honest about the areas that you're unfamiliar, and don't hesitate to admit that you don't know something. But go beyond just simply saying, that you don't know, that you lack this knowledge. Try to provide some examples of how you can acquire these new skills and knowledge. Instead of simply saying like, no, I haven't worked with this tool, or like, no, I don't have any experience in it. Try to make some comparison, with similar tool or project you're proficient in. So try to highlight the ability to adapt and learn this new skill, learn quickly. So demonstrate the willingness to learn and adapt, showcase that you would like to acquire the skills. Yeah. Some simple example would be if someone asking you, oh, did you work with Terraform? And you say like, no, I haven't. Like, I don't work with Terraform, and just leave it there. That's one answer. But if someone asking you, oh, did you work with Terraform? You can say like, I didn't work directly, like I don't with Terraform, but I've been working extensively with Ansible, and I understand what's, the areas that different and areas that similar, and I'm confident I can learn it in a short time, or something like that, because there is a lot of transferable kind of skills and transferable principles with technology. So be honest about what you don't know. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Be honest that you don't know and didn't work with something, so don't need to make it up. But at the same time, when you're saying that you don't know something, add about your willingness to learn it and acquire new skills, or maybe even give an example how you learn something in a short time before on your previous job, or when you join some previous role, you learn something on the spot. Again, seems like common sense, but please remember your resume details. Please remember what you put in your resume, because you need to ensure consistency by remembering these details that you included in your resume, because interviewers often have your resume in front of them and may ask questions specific questions about the project or tools you mentioned in there. So it's obviously crucial that you're familiar with the content of your resume, because if you appear surprised by question based directly on your resume, that can create definitely can create negative impression. It might make interviewer sort of questioning everything in your resume in this case, because if you don't remember putting that in your resume, so what else is in there that you don't remember? That's why make sure you take time to review your resume before interview and be prepared to discuss your previous experience in details. Some of us adjusting our resumes for the different roles. Remember what version of resume you send to send when applying to this role. So you actually remember what you highlight in your resume, and you expect the questions around that. Here's a joke here for you on the screen. My resume is just a list of things I really never want to do again. So hopefully it's not you. Last tip is ask meaningful question at the end. At the end of the interview, when you're given the opportunity to ask questions, make sure you ask them. Because asking meaningful questions demonstrate your interest and engagement. So consider Consider like being company specific, by when you're asking these questions. So you hopefully you did some sort of research about the company before. Some questions about, I don't know, particular product, particular feature, how the particular team works in their company, or some tools incorporated between each other or something. So if you can ask company specific questions, great. If you had the chance to do the research. If you in the situation that you didn't have a chance to do the research, that's okay. So you can ask something more about company culture, what employers enjoy about working in this company, what are the biggest challenges and opportunity for this company in the coming year. It also can give you some valuable insights, and you can see obviously the reaction of the interviewer, then they answering those sort of questions. Then make sure ask something specific to the role. What challenges and opportunity in this particular role, this role brings. How my performance will be measured in this role. Anything else that you find in the job description. And also a really good question to ask is something in line of, how do I compare it with other candidates who interview for this role? Because this question can straight away give you kind of the feeling if they're going to shortlist you or not, yeah? But also this question can give you a chance, maybe tell interviewer a bit more about experience. You might find this reply quite interesting, and you might be able to add something based on this reply. And also give you a bit of feeling where you're at in the sort of shortlisting process. I want to highlight one thing for you. That's one of my favorite quotes as well. I hear and I forget, I see and remember, I do and I understand. You can hear these tips millions of times. You can, look at them written down, but unless you start doing it and applying it, you're not gonna, progress. So it's all about practicing. And you can practice in front of a mirror. You can write things down. You can practice with the friends. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel to make sure you get notification about upcoming events. And look, it costs you nothing to subscribe to YouTube channel, but means a lot to me. And also, you can burn some calories while you're pressing that subscribe button.